Afternoon everybody. So today we're going to do a slightly different video to what we've done before. This is basically on the back of questions that we keep getting asked on Instagram and on the YouTube comments about what type of equipment do we use, what type of paper do I use, what type of books, what type of pens, what type of ink, you know, how do we create the process. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go through some of the tools that I use to create the art, and then we're going to do a series of videos after this just showing you how we do it in real time, but we're going to split them into several videos because if it was one video it'd be about an hour and a half long. So firstly, thank you everybody for subscribing, thank you everybody for your positive comments, thank you everybody for, you know, all the comments and messages on Instagram. I always try and respond to them, or my son responds to them. So basically the story is that I do all the drawing. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and my son puts all the videos together. He will respond to some of the things on Instagram and that, and we do it between us. That way what we try and do is try and do a more consistent approach. And to be honest with you, my son is the one who's more technically minded than myself, because with me being old, I'm not very technically minded. So first question I get asked all the time is, what kind of paper should I use? You know, should I go for something really expensive? Should I go for, you know, something, you know, really good quality? I mean, it's always that old adage, quality, you know, is always worth paying that little bit extra for. But if you haven't got the funds to do that, then what I would do is I would go with what you can afford. You know, get your practice in, build up your results, and then eventually when you start getting better and better and better, that's when I would probably say go on and do something, you know, and spend a little bit more money. So firstly, for the paper, what do I use? So when I use my my large sketch, what I use is I use this Winsor & Newton heavyweight sketchbook. Comes in A3, comes in A4, comes in A5. To be honest with you, I use this because it's a nice, smooth, shiny paper. It's good for markers, it's good for pencils, it's good for, you know, pretty much any medium you want. I have used mixed media paper before. I like mixed media paper, but it's a little bit thirsty on the old ink. If you're starting off with alcohol markers before and you've never used alcohol markers before, they do take a bit of work. They do take a bit of practice, and actually what they do is they do take you know, some time and effort to get yourself better. Excuse the light, I'm just trying to move the light to get a better thing. So again, if you're looking for alcohol paper, this Winsor & Newton alcohol paper is absolutely perfect. It advertises it with the Pro Marker pens. I have got some Pro Marker pens. They're okay, I like them, but they're not my pen of choice. Purely for me, I don't like a brush nib. I prefer a chisel nib, or I prefer a bullet nib. So what would you use if you're just going to get started? You know, cost is always the main feature in a lot of these questions. Is how much does it cost? It costs me a lot of money. You know, one of the best pens that you can buy for not a lot of money is obviously Sharpie. Sharpie is reasonably priced. It's an alcohol marker, and actually it does a pretty good job. So if you look here, I've got a box of all sorts of stuff. So we've got Posca here, which is a paint-based pen. Let me just move that out of the way. I've got Touch 5s, which again, if you're just starting out, are a really good entrance into the world of alcohol markers. I would say realistically with them, they're okay, but sometimes you can buy them in a box of 80 or a box of 40, and you might find that some of them are dry when you get them. But you know what, you pay for what you get. For 80 markers it'll probably cost you about £20, something like that. So I've got a white set here and I've got a black set here. In between these as well, I've got these pens which come from I think they came from the works. They were about 10 pens for £10. Alcohol pens again, but again, really good quality pens and easy to use. So Sharpie, I've got absolutely loads of black because I like black. I like doing the outsides of the pieces with black, because what it does is it brings your piece forward, and actually the coverage on them is pretty good, and it's always best to have quite a few because you will go through the black quite a lot as well. Again, we've got Sharpies, there's sets and sets and sets of Sharpies. One thing I find is I don't particularly like throwing them away. I have got some gel pens, but in all fairness, they are absolutely crap. I don't know why I've got those. They're just not very good quality. You can't do anything with them, and yeah, I found them to be a bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest with you. Again, I've got some Stabilo fine liners. They're good for outlines, they're good for small details and things like that when you're starting out, and actually they're quite a good pen and fairly inexpensive. The thing I would say with any of this as well is, you know, if you've got some money available, buy them, try them. If they're good, get them again. If they're rubbish, don't bother. You will find that not every pen will suit your need. You know, everybody likes something different. Everybody does their work differently. You know, some people like to spend ridiculous amounts of money on Copic markers, but you know, I have got some Copics here which my son and his girlfriend bought me recently, which I have to say are really good. They have got a brush nib, but to be honest with you, the coverage and quality of those is pretty exceptional, I would say. It would be nice to have the full set of 72 markers, but at 300 odd pounds, I think I could think of better things to spend my money on at the moment, but that will be something that I will go for in the future. So you see these bad boys in front of me, you know, and I've had a few comments going, oh, why have you got the same, you know, so many colours and whatever. I've got lots of colours because I like them, and not only that, it looks nice, doesn't it? So these are Spectrum Noir. Now Spectrum Noir are an alcohol-based pen. So you've got one side is your bullet nib, and then the other side is your chisel nib. Now, coverage-wise, these are absolutely superb. I really like these. They're a great price. There's so many colours available. So there's 4 sets of 24, and then there's other sets where you can get 5 or 6 in a packet of different shades. So you can get your blue shades, you can get your pinks, you can get your yellows, you can get your purples, but they are great to use. If you want to start out and you really want to get into alcohol markers, they were the first ones that I went for, and to be honest with you, they've been absolutely superb, and they have been my go-to pen for everything. You know, the actual hue of the colours is, excuse me, just drop that. The hue of the colours is amazing. So if you look at that, you know, the coverage on that is pretty good. You know, they blend and mix pretty well together. They're just a great pen. And if it was something that you were going to start off and you were going to spend a bit of money, I would highly recommend going for those as well. As I said, you've got the Pro markers. Pro markers, again, you can get that in quite a lot of places, here, there and everywhere. Again, nice coverage. So you get the brush pen on some of them, and you get your chisels on them, and then some of them you get the bullet nibs. But it will actually tell you on the end of it what you're getting. So on this one it will say brush, and then on some of them it will say chisel. But again, good range of colours, good contrasting colours and things like that, which are good. My other pens that I like to use are these Chameleon pens. These are just superb. There's no other word for it. They're absolutely superb. Great pens, great coverage. I mean, the quality of them is absolutely amazing. And another thing that you can do with them, which I will just show you if I can get another pen that's got a decent colour on it. So if I look at, let me just find this one. So if you look at this one here, so this one here is a nice blue colour. Now what happens with these, excuse me, I'm trying to hold the camera at the same time. So you put this nib into this colour mixing chamber at the top, and what you do, if you look, the two nibs touch each other. So there's a material in the top which mixes with that, and then as you start using it, what will happen is, you see there's no colour coming out there, and what happens is you'll start getting a colour fade on it. So it will go from light to dark, and what it does is it gives you a nice fade. So if ever you see any of my drawings on Instagram and they've got that nice fade on there, that fade will come from the Chameleon pens. The other reason I like the Chameleon pens is the fact that they are refillable. So the initial outlay on these pens was about £150, but these refill inks are about £4, and you can refill your pen up maybe 4 or 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, whatever it is. It depends on how much you use your pens and how much you use them. But you know, so it was £152 for this set of pens here, and but value for money on the long run. I've now got a set of pens which I can use forever and ever and ever. and what that means then is I can just keep refilling them. The other things you do as well is you'll see these things called Chameleon colour tops. Now, I've had a couple of messages saying, oh, I'm going to go and buy the pink set and I'm going to buy the grey set. Don't buy these on their own. If you buy these on their own, you might as well just waste your money, because they can only be used with the pens. So what this effectively does, if I get that blue pen again, let me just, blue pen again, and I take the end off this. So again, if I touch this into here, so I put the two together, so you can see you've got your pen at the bottom, you've got your mixing chamber at the top, the two nibs are touching, and then what happens when you start colouring with them, so you start off with the pink, and then what will happen is gradually you will move into the purple, he says. I think maybe I had that on too long. There we go. So you gradually see the colour changing and it will move into the blue. So if I'd have had that on for a shorter period of time, that colour change would have happened a lot quicker. But because I had it on for a bit longer, obviously it takes a bit longer for the colours to mix. So if you do it quickly, you'll get the colour change quickly. If you leave it on for a longer period of time, you'll get a longer, stronger fade with that. So again, you know, these are things that if you want to spend a lot of money, you can spend a lot of money. You know, I've got boxes here with pens in, I've got pencils in here, I've got my drawers with all my pencils, pens, you know, I've got my gel pens here so these are a different kind of gel pens than those cheaper ones. So these are used for highlights and colouring around the pieces, colouring around the characters. They're absolutely superb then as well. You know, sometimes I'll use uniballs. I've got Copic outliner pens. You know, I've got pencils, I've got pens, I've got paints. You know, I will try pretty much whatever I need. You know, to try and pull a decent picture out of it as well though. So I've got Poscas in there as well. So for those of you who don't know what Poscas are, so Poscas are effectively a paint pen. So obviously you pump the ends of it, but you know, great for tagging. You know, the colour fill on them is absolutely amazing. But all I will say with them is they take some work and they take some practice, because they can be a bit tricky at first if you've never used them before though. But you know, there's some really good people out there making some really good art with those Posca pens as well though. But you know, it looks like I've got a lot of pens and a lot of art equipment. Yes, I have. You know, I mean, I've got books here, there, and everywhere. I've got paint underneath my desk. You know, I've got art equipment everywhere. But what's happened is I've not just gone out and bought it straight away. It's stuff that I bought over time. You know, if I see something in a sale, I will buy it in a sale. If I see something that's on offer, I will buy it on offer. If I see something that's really cheap and really extremely good value for money, what I would do is I would buy that, and I would buy it twice, I'd buy it 3 times, and then what I would do is I would store that away. So what I'm going to be doing next, like I say, the next couple of videos, we're going to break them down into how we do them. So with outlines, so we're going to start with the outlines, we're going to start with you know, how we colour it in, how we get, you know, the designs on there as well, how to finish it off, how to do your edging, how to do your 3D, all that sort of stuff. And like I say, just let me know how you get on. But you know, it'd be nice to see what your comments are and what your feelings are. You know, we're at 216 subscribers on this now. You know, for all of you who, you know, see all these superstars on YouTube or anything like that, we're not making a penny out of this. We are doing it because it's something we enjoy doing. I draw every single day. You know, people always ask me, you know, how do you get good at drawing and how do you get good at art? It's really simple. It's just keep doing it. Practice, practice, practice. You'll make some really good stuff, you'll make some really rubbish stuff, but you know what, the more you do it, the better you'll get. You know, if I look at some of the stuff that I've done from, you know, maybe 10-15 years ago, some of it's absolutely dreadful, but you know, some of it in general is, you know, is getting better and better all the time, and your comments inspire me and push me on, you know. And it's just, you know, the fact of people saying, you know, great things and I really like that work and stuff like that, it just encourages you to do more. So if you like it, like it. If you want to, you know, if you're not subscribing it, subscribing it. You know, if you know anybody that's into art or wants to get into this or is thinking about doing it or wants to do it, you know, hopefully that some of the work inspires you to go out and push there though. But you know, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you on the next video.